heart of Pretoria, we're witnessing a true festival of football. Our vivacious presenter, Xoli Zondo, is standing by with fans, Nigerian fans, I imagine, ahead of this Africa Cup of Nations final between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the host Ivory Coast. Xoli, capture the buzz and the essence for us. We are looking forward to a tantalizing experience.
Zai, the noise levels have gone up a notch. The excitement levels even more higher than that first crossing that we had earlier on. The rivalry is even more intense. I can guarantee you that we are just a couple of hours away, less than 2, until the kickoff of the finale. Nigeria taking on Ivory Coast. And if you thought the rivalry was just on the pitch, it's also here in mainland Pretoria. Mike is definitely a huge Super Eagles fan, and then on the other side we've got Tulani, who says it has to be the Elephants of Ivory Coast that clinch this one. Mike, I want to start with you. What a journey that Nigeria had. You know, when you look at the group stages, them starting things off, you know, with victory, and of course that draw up against Equatorial Guinea. They haven't been scoring too many goals, but they're in the final, and that's what matters.
Yeah, in as much as Nigeria versus Ivory Coast, we do meet on the group stage, and we came out victorious by beating Ivory Coast by 1-0.
Yeah.
And today's game will be something else that they all want to come out to take as a revenge. You understand me? Because I think the last meeting we met at the Nations Cup, I think we came out victorious.
Yeah.
You understand? So they will take that spirit, as Nigeria has been overshadowing us for a very long time, so they want to use that opportunity to come out to play. And in as much as the first time on the group stage we beat them 1-0,
yeah,
so they will come out to give everything just to make sure that yes, they came out. You understand? So that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it was the Nigerian captain who converted a penalty. But Tulani, on the other hand, some people will say, but it was just a 1-0 scoreline, and it was in the group stages. Now it's different. This is the final. We don't care about what the past says, you know. All is to play for in these 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think Ivory Coast will win this one because they are the host, and I'm sure they want to leave the trophy at home. Yeah, that's what I think.
So let's look at both of these teams. Yes, you're saying Nigeria is winning, Ivory Coast is winning. What is going to be the difference this time around?
Yeah, for today's game, Nigeria will be playing not only the Ivorian team, they will be playing against the fans also, because they're at home. You understand? But in as much as I believe that Nigeria is coming out victorious tonight's game, and I believe that we are lifting the trophy tonight by the special grace of God. So that's what I think about it. But my prediction for the game, I know that it will end by 1-0 for today.
Oh, it's going to be another 1-0 for the.
But it won't be by penalties. Yeah. You understand? So this one, I think I give Osimhen the goal for this time. Osimhen will be the one to score for tonight's game.
And he's been looking to score. I mean, he's only had one this entire tournament. Of course, had a couple of goals disallowed. In terms of Ivory Coast, do you think they can find one past the goalkeeper, Stanley Nwabili, who's had quite a fantastic tournament? How many goals do you think they're going to be scoring, Tulan?
I think they can just score 2 goals. I think there's this one guy in the middle field, Fofana, if I'm not mistaken. That guy, if he would be on the game, I think they can score two goals. Because I think he's the one who's carrying Ivory Coast by his shoulders. So I'm thinking they are going to win 2-0.
And I hear both of you gents are talking about how this match is going to end in regulation time, which would be ideal. But we've seen one of many actually big encounters going all the way to penalty shootouts. If it were to get to that, do you trust your respective keepers to do what a Ronwen Williams was able to do for Bafana?
Yeah, penalty is a game, 50-50 game of luck. It's other side, so anything can happen when it comes about penalties. We can't put all the trust on the goalkeepers because we can't see what they can do. You understand me? So, for me, if it gets to a penalty, so it's 50-50 chance. You understand? But I just pray that it didn't get to that extent.
Yeah, because when it gets there, it's really a lottery, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lottery, and Ivory Coast, they're going to have the 12-man defense. So I'm sure that the Nigerians players they're going to be nervous when they're going to take those penalties because the fans from Ivory Coast will be making a lot of noise. So I think Ivory Coast can win it on penalties if it has to go to the penalties.
Absolutely. And before I let you guys go in, because I know the party is heating up inside, we're watching the build-up quite intently. Yesterday was so phenomenal for South Africa. You know, just your message to Bafana Bafana being able to bring home bronze after 24 years. And of course, we know they're arriving back in the country on Wednesday. What's your message? We'll start with Tulani and then Mike.
For me, I would like to say I'm proud. I'm proud of the South Africans. For the first time in 24 years, we've made it to the semi-finals. And I would like to be a little bit spicy. Just a little bit spicy. We made it with the players which were born in Africa. Remember, most of the teams, they are players that are not born in Africa. So
I think that's a hint to you, Mike. That is a big one to you.
Yeah, a big congrats to South Africa. In as much as I'm a Nigerian, yesterday I stood by South Africa because I was raising South African flag because I knew South Africa would come out victorious for yesterday game. Kudos to Williams. In as much as when they play Nigeria, I was scared when it gets to a penalty shootout because I know what William can do. But kudos to him. I'm really, really proud of South Africa. I'm really, really proud of the coach. This is the real South African team that we have been waiting for all these years. So I'm proud of them. Congrats to South African team.
No, absolutely. It is divided, Zai. I did say. Mike, on the one hand, saying it's a 1-0 victory to Nigeria, but Tulani is adamant that it will be 2-0 to Ivory Coast. And we can't wait for kickoff at 10 p.m. from the Alassane Ouattara Stadium to see who, in fact, will come out victorious at this 34th edition. We are going to be continuing with the festivities here at Menlyn in Pretoria because this watch party is really one that is befitting a finale of this 34th edition of the Africa Cup of Nations.
Thank you so much, Xoli. Yes, the opinions may be divided, but if it's one thing that sport does, it unifies us in ways that's a bit like a chakalaka, spicy.